All right, TGI Friday. Sorry, this one's a little late. Um, Had a long road trip out to Philly. We're picking up a load of toys donated by Philly Lodge 5 to bring back to Chicago for Christmas. Um, with that being said, congratulations, Windy City's finest on back-to-back World Championships. Great job, fellas. Looking forward to a three-peat. Um, this began probably the hardest week that just about any of us have experienced on this job, short of a line of duty death. The ridiculous process that has been going on at 35th in Michigan could have been avoided and should have been avoided, but the powers that be decided otherwise. It's extremely disappointing that exempt rank members did not stand up for the rank and file members yet again. Not one of them. They all allowed this process to go on. We had over 24 officers who disobeyed a direct order because it was the right thing to do in their hearts. But yet you could not find one single exempt rank member willing to disobey an order to participate in you giving up your contractual rights. That's pretty sad. Make no mistake about it. Their paychecks, their pensions, and their positions mean more to them than every single one of us, all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. They are so petrified to get knocked down to captain or lieutenant and get demoted. They made their bed, they're going to lie in it. That's a conversation for another day. Where we're at right now. So the judge this morning granted the PBPA Sergeants Association with their motion to strike her from hearing the case on the temporary restraining order. That means all four unions and the case will go to another courtroom. We'll see. The city still has the ability to strike the next judge. We'll see if that happens. Monday, we expect to have a court hearing in the afternoon. I don't know where that goes. There still should be a hearing for the gag order. We filed a motion, just like the city did, under the related case clause, to have all the cases combined. Judge Jacobus granted their motion when they wanted to do that yesterday. So now, under that same logic that the city used to get their way, we're going to use to move the gag order along with the TRO into the new courtroom as a combined case. I don't know how it can be denied. They already granted it for the city. It's just the same argument. Now it's just being reversed and used against the city. So stay tuned on that. As the court information becomes a little more clear, we will certainly pass out that information. But again, over 24 officers held the line and disobeyed the order and went into a no pay status. We set up a Heroes Fund on the FOP website. That money will be distributed to the officers in no pay status. We're going to figure out a calculation on how to help them out in this financial crunch that they voluntarily took on all our behalfs. So I think it was a pretty noble cause. It's certainly not going to stop. The games the department has played over the last 5 days is nothing short of disgraceful. They have had officers standing in line for hours on end, just mentally torturing them. They literally stripped an officer that worked for EAP, a mental health wellness person, professional, one of our peers. They put in that position to have to make that choice. Now we have one less person at our disposal to help us out in this ridiculously stressful time. They took a bomb dog away. I shouldn't say they took the dog away. They stripped the bomb dog tech, canine handler, I should say, from O'Hare. Again, the airports are going to be a little less safe now with one less bomb dog available. But the disgraceful actions by Commander Sean Logren of threatening this officer that they were going to take the dog away from him and trying to come up that there was some bluff about some CPD policy that the dog would be removed from him was pathetic. There is no policy. It could not be produced. It was an idle threat to scare the officer into compliance. That dog belongs to TSA. TSA even wrote and said they had given the general counsel of the city that information that that dog belonged to them, and that officer keeps that dog until they are absolutely terminated or retired. And terminated meaning they've exhausted every appeal at the police board, chancery court, and everything before that dog would be taken away from them. But that's not what the CPD and Commander Lagerman was trying to do. He was literally trying to scare, intimidate, and harass a canine handler that is under his purview. It's pretty sad that our exempt rank members are willing to stoop that low. But there is a gleeful joy in some of their eyes about what they're doing. Their names will be revealed. Everybody that partook in this process will be revealed. Everybody needs to know who did what and that they didn't do anything to stop it. That'll come later. Going forward, I don't know exactly what happens. Alderman Tabaris, filed an ordinance. Last check I heard, there was 16 other aldermen that were part of that ordinance. That's going to be presented at City Council on Monday, 10 a.m. I advise everybody to contact your alderman as much as you can, possibly over the weekend, first thing Monday morning, ring their phones off the hook, even though they're going to be in City Hall. Show up at City Hall on Monday. Let them know how you feel. The ordinance is not about the police department. The ordinance is about absolute control on the 5th floor of City Hall with this mayor and the absolute need to take that absolute power away. It needs to stop. Richie Daley did it when he destroyed Meigs Field in the middle of the night because he thought it was the right thing to do. Tiny Dancer did it, with a stroke of a pen. He decided to be awesome to get rid of retiree health care. Unchallenged, his own policy, he created it, pushed it through. This mayor is just continuing a long legacy of dictators on the 5th floor of City Hall. The City Council is supposed to run, it's supposed to be the governing body, create laws, pass laws. The mayor is only supposed to help steer that conversation and try and get their agenda put forward, whatever that may be, and convince aldermen that their ideas are the right ideas. But the aldermen still are supposed to have the say-so. That is not what has been going on in the City Council for an awful long time. But this ordinance absolutely gives the power back to the aldermen to decide serious things about the city workforce and their paychecks. And it's not just the police, it's not just the fire, it's streets and sand, transportation, and everything else under the sun who have gone into no pay status under this ridiculous policy that was not negotiated in good faith. And for any civilians watching this video, I'm going to give you a real quick lesson on where we're at. This is not about selfish coppers refusing to get the vaccine or anything like that. This fight started from the beginning about contractual protections that the city ignored. They came up with a policy. They say, here it is, take it or leave it, tough luck. That's not the way collective bargaining is supposed to operate. We were at an impasse. At that point, it should have went to arbitration. The mayor refused to go to arbitration and literally just said, I gave you the policy, that's what it is, tough luck. That's why we are where we are today. There's some simple solutions that could be addressed, but she has just been too stubborn to admit that she was wrong, which is not shocking to any of us, or to admit that there's, a middle ground here somewhere. It is always total destruction, no matter what, as long as she wins. That's all she ever cares about is winning, even if she literally burns the city to the ground. Let's hope it doesn't get there. Let's hope enough aldermen do the right thing on Monday and push to have that ordinance enacted so this vaccine policy, gets reset and negotiated like it should have been, and then passed and agreed upon by the full city council and not one person who is a tyrant with an axe to grind against the police and apparently even the fire department at this point. And kudos to the firemen and all the other city workers who filed the federal lawsuit challenging this nonsense. It is all hands on deck. We can't take our city back. It does not belong to one person, nor should it ever. And until we wake up and start fighting back even louder and harder, this is never going to change. With that being said, have a good weekend. I'll update everybody, I guess, on Monday as we go forward on what happens in court. Thank you.